Hey everybody, Susan Lazar Hart here. Sorry if I'm a little bit late. There was a little bit of, creation of something that actually wasn't working in the broadcast. And so they canceled me. And here I am again, Susan Lazar Hart, your congruency coach for creatives, for seekers, for change makers, wanting to play with a more joy-filled, fulfilling, successful, and happy life and living and beyond. If that's you, you've come to the right place. Today we are talking about how committed are you to your stories, and what does that create for you in your life, in your living. We'll wait a little bit for the algorithms to kick in, let people know we're going live. And if you're coming later, press #replay and pop in your comments, because I come in and check every day. Hey Patricia, welcome, welcome. It's a snowy day in Montreal. Hope things are going well for you out west. Hey, tell us where you're from as you do come in. We have an international community, and it's always fun to see where people are coming in from. So let's begin at the beginning. You know, how many stories were you told about you from the moment you were born? You have your mother's nose, you have your father's eyes, as you get older, you're just like your aunt, your uncle, you have your grandmother's disposition. You act just like, and you fill in the blanks with this one, right? I remember my mom saying to me how I'm just like my Aunt Nettie, and I realized she meant that as a negative. And I finally, after years of listening to that, turned around and said, I got to tell you, I really love my Aunt Nettie. I'm so grateful every time you say that to me. And that was kind of the last time she used that story against me. Right? So how many times were you told as you were growing up a story that somebody was using it against you? Right? That's a really bizarre way to connect to somebody, through a story about a negativity, right? And people also judge the positivity, right? Why can't you be like your brother Joe, who always, whatever that is for you, who always comes in on time? Or why can't you be like the neighbor's kids who always, whatever that is for you? Do you see how we're raised with stories? Right? So the thing about a story is it pulls you out of the present moment, right? And pulls you into, hey Maureen, welcome, and pulls you into the fantasy, right? Now when we're pulled out of our present moment of who we truly be, it actually deletes our sense of our potency and possibilities. Because you have these stories running through the background. Well, I better not do this. I don't want to take a chance. Think of the phrases that are used in this reality. Don't rock the boat. Stick with it. Don't quit. Right? In other words, don't be aware of who you be, what you be, and how you be. Ooh, I got a heart and a thumbs up on that one. Right? Do as I say, not as I do. Right? All of those stories that are ingrained and entrained as you grow up. In that we call it the river of subconsciousness. Hey, Julie. So true. Good morning. Thanks, Julie. Yeah. It's now the time to just shake them off. Right? Because it's really that simple. I have a lot of clients who will come to me with their stories at the beginning of our journey together. It's a coach-client journey together. And as we grow and journey through, and really it's like peeling an onion. Like, who does that story belong to? Is that yours or somebody else? Did your parents have a fear of success? Did your parents have a point of view about how they created income or money? Did your parents have a point of view that you should be seen and not heard? Right? Did your parents have a point of view that if you celebrated you, you'd bring evil back into you, right? Don't be a show off, right? That's a story right there. Because how many times where you heard something about you, and then you heard the story around that? When I was very young, we created a skating rink in the back of our yard, and I was so excited with my brothers to be creating the skating rink. And my mom yelled at me when I finally put my skates on and went on the rink, because in those days, girls didn't play hockey. Right? She had a story about her own life and what she wasn't allowed to do, that she then transferred over into raising her children. Do you see See what I mean when I say if you buy or tell a story, it takes you out of being present with you. Right? So the trick here is to ask yourself, when you start to go down that road, hey Maureen, welcome. When you start to go down that road, ask yourself, oh, is this taking me away from being present with me? In this present moment, what am I asking to create? Not what story was I told that validates my point of view. See how that's all like gets all like a spider's web, and you trap yourself in there, right? We are programmed with stories. We're programmed with stories. Stories pull us out of the present and seduce us into a future that actually isn't ours to begin with. Yeah. So as this is not a dialogue or a monologue, it's a conversation. Come on in with your ahas, your questions. This is your space. This is our space to be together every Sunday. And I welcome you if you are new to Ask Susan Sunday on Congruent Living. Again, it's really when we get pulled out of our present moment, because we live in increments of present moments, right? It's like when we buy or tell a story, right? We pull ourselves out of being present with what is really going on, with what it is that we're asking to create, with who we truly be. Julie says, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Don't buy or tell the story. The thing is, when you buy or tell a story, you are committing to that story. You're telling the universe, I'm committed. There is no other way around this. And what does that do? I talked earlier about what it does is it distills your potency, your sense of who you truly be, your sense of possibilities. It distills it into fear, anxiety, worry, all of those emotions we use to distract ourselves from actually being truly, truly, truly present. It pulls you into a future that you've decided may happen or may not happen. So instead of being present, right? Instead of being like totally present, you've already gone into the distraction, right, of woulda, coulda, shoulda. What could this create? What would happen because it's happened to somebody else, or I was told this, or I was told that. And that's where you want to be really, really present with yourself. When you're going down that rabbit hole of the story. And we're taught at a very young age to use the story as a reason and justification, sometimes to survive when you're very little. Right? How often did somebody say, tell me why you did that? And you're like, oh, okay, what story can I give them that would get me out of here? Right? So I wouldn't be in trouble. And how much do you continue that as you grow up, as you become who you are now, how much have you used that skill of telling a story in order to survive against yourself? Right? So truth, do you require to survive right now? Or would you like to thrive? Right? Thriving has to do with letting go of your commitment to your story. Right? Now, whatever that is for you, go out a month from now. Go out 2 months from now. What is it that you get a sense of that's possible for you that you're not creating right now? Right? Just be there. Be with that, whatever that is for you. What commitment are you willing to make to that awareness? Oh, again, it could be generating a certain amount of income. It could be writing your book, singing a song, learning something new, right? Whatever that is for you. It could be cleaning out your home, whatever that is for you, eating a specific way that's clean for you. It could be moving your body, a commitment to move your body in a certain way. Right? Get that sense of that, whatever that is for you. And now ask yourself, what is it? What's my first step here? And if you find you're stopping yourself from that first step, ask yourself, is there a story here that's holding this in place? Because there's a huge difference between being really present in the present moment of what's required. When you're willing to be present in the present moment of what's required, that vibration, those energies, that field of energetics is being present with you as well, right? So you're not here alone. It's not you deciding something. It's once you choose to be present, the universe has this bounty of information, gifts, whatever you want to call it, awarenesses, for you to tap into. As long as you hold on to your story, or a story that someone's told you, a story you bought, right, or told, the universe, you can't even hear the universe. Right? Those whispers of awareness are blocked out by your commitment to your story. Now, here's the deal. If you're willing to ask yourself, wow, is there a story? Do I have a story attached here? What is it that I've decided is stopping me? And who does that belong to? Is that my story, somebody else's story, a story I was told at a very young age that has nothing to do with who I truly be right now in this present moment? Yeah. Are we in the right field here? Let me see. Yes, let's keep going. I have a question. This is right on. Where I wanted to be today with this question. Let's see something right coming back at me. Let me just see a thumbs up, something like that, a heart. I know it's a little bit weird with the recording today, but this is something that I've been aware of for myself, and that's how I play. When I'm aware of something, I tap into it, and it's like, oh, good, I got a thumbs up. Yay, thank you so much. I tap into it, and that's what we're doing today. I want you to, this week, between now and the next Ask Susan, which is every Sunday right here, I want you to start asking yourself, where am I being present? Is this allowing me? Is this point of view that I have? Is this story allowing me to be present with who I be, what I be, and who I came here to be, and what I am doing right now? And sometimes it takes months. It's not like, yeah. Sometimes, there's a story there. You don't know what it is. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, damn, I bought that when I was 10. I bought that story when I was 10. I remember dancing with my girlfriends at camp, and all the girls were dancing together, and we were having a ball, and this boy comes up to me, and he says, Susan, why are you such a show-off? You're such a show-off. And I immediately contracted. Right? And I held that story with me for years and years and years and years. And it was only when I tapped into that, oh, I bought that story. Who did that story belong to? That was his story. That had nothing to do with me. Right? So is this making sense? Yeah? Let's see another thumbs up or heart, just so I know I'm in the right place. When you tap into the stories that you were told, and it's not about buying them and going like, oh my God, yeah, no, it's about being present, acknowledging what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Again, I got a thumbs up and a heart. I took a lot of notes here for this because it's so important that we recognize that we are living in an energetic field. Yeah? We're living in an energetic field. When you tap into your story and you buy it as the reason and justification for not creating greater, your potency, your sense of possibilities, all of that just distills, right? And we tend to replace that distillation with worry, with questions that aren't questions, with looking for proof of why we're not where we want to be right now. And that's the target here, congruent living. It's about living a congruent life, right? It's about living in congruency with who you want to be, how you want to be, and where you want to be, every day in every way. It's about being totally present and at one with you. So, if there are no more questions, I will love you and leave you. Please share this Tag your friends who are on here, because this is so important, right? As long as you're holding on to a story, any story, it's your history. Patricia, is there ever a time when a story does work for you? That's a great question, Patricia. Thank you. I would say for myself, I look for transformational, what's the word? Inspiration, right? I look for something that inspires me. So that if that's a story, an inspirational story that inspires me, I don't put myself in the story. Right? So I'm not buying that story as, oh, if she does it that way, then I should do it that way. Right? It's like, wow, that's awesome. Like today, thanks so much, Patricia. Like today, I was watching this little piece this morning on, I forget their names, something in Doug, Mel and Doug, Melissa and Doug, that created wooden toys. They they're now multi millionaires. They started this off as young adults, like in their early 20s, and they're in their 40s or 50s, and they have 3 homes and they have 6 kids, and they've created this huge thing. And I'm kind of like making my breakfast, listening to this, and then she starts to say how she was totally depressed her whole life. And she, to the degree that she had eating disorders, she created eating disorders. She used to walk around, I think she went to Duke University with a bottle of pills that she had made, a little of this pill, a little of that pill, whatever, so that if she wanted to kill herself, she could do that. If things got so bad, she could do that. And she used to walk around and like open the jar up, sniff it, whatever. And I'm listening to this, and I know that there's a hero's journey in here, right? And I'm just waiting for it. And sure enough, she started writing poetry when she was 5. I can't remember the poem that she read, but it was really amazing. How astute she was about how she just knew she didn't fit into this world, and so for the rest of her, as she grew up, she kept writing and poetry and beautiful poems. And what she's doing now is she's created, I can't remember it, I'll find out. She's created a whole website and podcast, and for people who are just lost, like she was, for people who need that reach out. And so far they've invested like a couple of $1 million in creating their site, in creating all of that. She has her book, she's put into her book her poetry and her photographs, with the idea that if you change one person, you change the world. So for me, Patricia, in listening to this, it was a very inspirational story for me, right? And it just connected with me that where for myself am I choosing to move forward in connecting into creating a space that changes people into, with the book that I'm writing, what does that look like for me, right? So that's an example for myself. When you ask me, is there a time when a story works for me? It inspires me, right? So I would say, don't buy or tell a story that perspires you, right? That has you sweating because you're not like that person, because look what they've already created. That was my idea. Whatever that is for people who are listening to this. On the replay, yes, definitely. I read inspirational books, right? I have a whole library here of, I can just pick a book down, open it up to a page, ask the universe, okay, I would like some direction here, I would like some information, and that inspires me, right? So, Patricia, let me know if that gives you any information. For everybody listening, do you get the difference between not buying the story, but using a story to your advantage, right? I would say that's what inspirational stories do for me. Thank you. Inspiration. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, this, if you want to call it third dimensional reality, whatever you want to call it, is based on you copying other people, right? It's based on you regurgitating their stories, right? And commodifying yourself. So you repeat the story you were told, you become a commodity. Don't buy or sell the story, right? That's commodification of a story. What I'm asking you to do is be really, really present. It's a challenge for you, for everybody listening. Please be really present with you this week. And when you get these aha moments, come on into congruent living and let me know what pops for you, right? Because, again, when two or more are gathered, we change the space we're in, right? And it's really about being present, right, with you, who you came here to be, who you are being, and what you are creating. And what if there was no story? What if the story, Patricia, I keep thinking about your question. I love your question. Part of my target is to go into girls' schools and talk to them about being fearless. And will I use my stories? Absolutely. Right? But I know there's stories. When I travel around, when I used to travel around the world and speak, motivational speaking, I use my stories as the hero's journey, right? Where I pulled myself out of where I was by using these tools, by living in the question, by being present in this present moment, by asking questions, by acknowledging that we have choice. Right? And so that's what attracted me. All of a sudden, I'm like, this is a very interesting story. And also, part of inspirational stories for me is I can appreciate and acknowledge where these people are coming from, right? And as we know, when you're willing to appreciate and acknowledge, you are being present. Right? You're not chasing anything. You're being present with you, with who you truly be. And that's the target of congruent living, right? Thanks so much, Patricia. Thank you so much. Anybody else have a question or an aha? One of the things that I really is really important for me is please don't suffer alone. Right? If you find you're bumping up against something, if you know that there's another possibility with your life and living and the way you'd love to live your life, if you just wake up frustrated in the middle of the night saying, I just can't get there, reach out to me, please. Okay, please reach out to me. Let's get on a call. Let's private message me. Go to SusanLazarHart.com. There's no need, right? You are not alone. You're not alone, right? Reach out to me and let's see what we can create together. More joy, more ease, more happiness, more fulfillment, more of that sense of, yes, that's what I came here to be and do. This is who I be, right? That's my commitment to you. And that's my commitment to me. Patricia says, so how do you use the hero story without reliving it? Oh, because it's just a story. I mean, my target is to offer people, as many people as possible, that there's another possibility of living, manipulating, creating, enjoying this amazing, experience in this human body on this amazing planet. So what stories can I tell? I've told a couple right here, right? I can dramatically act as if I'm reliving something, but it is a story. I'm acknowledging, here's a story for you, right? What can I offer? Here's a story, right? Take from it what you will, and leave the rest behind. When we go to relive a story, that's that imprinting and training we had between the 0 and 7. That's what we call the subconscious. And we can just taste it right back there or feel it, right? Like it's like, whatever that is. So that's when you stop. When you have that it's going on, it's happening again. You're actually creating it because you're tapping into the fight or flight of what that story created in you the first time, what that event created in you the first time. I got a thumbs up on that, right? And so instead of, acknowledge, what am I tapping into here? Expand out. Take an aerial view. Would I, just take a breath. Get yourself centered right down into the earth, right? Take a breath. Be present. I put my hand on my heart. Your heart is this fifth dimensional organ that's creating constantly. Tap into that. Take another breath or two. Be present. And ask, okay, what would I like to create from here? Tell me if that assists you at all, Patricia. Oh, I got lots of thumbs up and hearts. Yeah. Again, it's about being very present. When we buy anything, any reaction, we buy into the fight or flight. Unless you're running out of a fire right now and you need those chemicals, you're telling your body, your brain actually has trained your body, this is how I want to feel when I hear this story. This is how I want to feel. Because as weird as it is, it's more comfortable to have those feelings than it is to actually shift and change them. Again, I would say, what do you love about those feelings? What do those feelings give you? Could be a time when people paid attention to you. It could be a time when you had to give yourself love. You had to do this in order to survive. So my question for you is, so if I didn't relive this, what could I be creating? And one of my big questions that I use for myself that I offer to my clients all the time is this adding or taking away from my future? Like if I dedicate the next 3 hours to feeling bummed out because somebody said something to me that triggered what somebody said something to me, that triggered what somebody said something to me, that triggered what somebody said something to me, is this creating more or less with my future, the future I am asking to create with? Right? So when I had that awareness of like, oh, well, he's 10 years old, maybe he had a crush on me. For those of you just coming in, this is a story I told earlier. When I had that awareness of like, wow, what is that? Oh, that's what that is? Let it go. Let it go, let it flow, right? It has nothing to do with me being present. And what a shame that would be if I bought that story as true and real, that would not have me doing videos, speaking around the world, being very comfortable to get up on stage, right? And comfortable working one-on-one as well, right? Sharing the information that I have as I continue to learn on this journey. Right? What a shame that would be to deprive myself as the infinite being of this experience, of this journey with all of you. Right? Don't deprive the world from your special sauce because you're buying a story as real and true. That would be my addition to that. Again, Patricia, thanks so much for all your questions. I appreciate it. All of you, come in again later with your questions if you're just watching this now. I'll reach out to you. And please, again, reach out to me. Right? Please reach out to me if you are trapped somewhere with your story and you just say, I don't know how to get out of it. Contact me. Right? That's what I love to do. I love you guys. Yeah. Private message me or go to SusanLazarHeart.com. Patricia says, big thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Maureen, for popping in and out. And thank all of you so much. I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your Sundays with me. Live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader that you came here to be. Because the world needs more of you, not less. More of that special sauce that you have. And I wonder what that could create if you actually let go of your stories. I wonder. Let me know. Oh, I love all the hearts that I'm getting. Have an amazing, amazing day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.